Would you please introduce yourself?
My name is Jeremy Tamarkin.
Jeremy, obviously you and I know each other.
Something like that.
Can you tell me, please, what do you do?
I currently work for the nation's largest do-it-yourself home improvement store.
So the store sells what type of products?
Anything home-related, electrical equipment, lumber, garden, plumbing, kitchen and bath.
So you mentioned electrical equipment.
Yes, sir.
And what are we looking at now? What are you standing in front of?
A meter.
A power meter.
Yes. And
next to the power meter we have the breaker box.
Yeah, underneath it, in the compartment.
Let me come over here, and we're going to open up the breaker box. Okay, we are going to remove the cover of this circuit panel. And we're going to consider the installation of a device which would allow us to bring inside the electrical power usage indications.
Sounds good.
Looking at the breaker box, and given your experience working with customers, working in this home improvement center, what is your impression and what is your recommendation?
Well, this looks a little bit complicated for a lot of people, and from the looks of it, could put somebody in the hospital real quick if they're not careful.
If not, kill them.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably more than enough power here to operate several electric chairs in the old days.
I would assume so.
This, of course, is a meter, an AC voltmeter. If I connect one of the incoming electrodes or connectors to ground, and I connect the other to this bus bar, we see 120 volts.
Yeah.
120 volts, we see the needle deflect. I connect it to the other bus bar, we see 120 volts, we see the needle deflect. If I can manage to get the wire to stay in that position, and I now connect this electrode to this wire, we now see 240 volts. 240 volts incoming from the utility company's transformer on the power pole located across the street.
Yeah.
We have a series of what we call bus bars, which bring the power from the power meter into the breaker box. The breaker box, of course, is used to distribute the power to the various devices inside the house.
Yes.
If a customer wished to install an energy management device, and there are several on the market, such as one called the Energy Detective, which requires installation in this box, they would have to put a sensing device in the box, and this sensing device would consist of a current transformer, in fact 2 of them, because in the United States we bring in 120 volts to ground, 120 volts to ground across those 240 volts. So I would have to install one of these current sensing transformers around this bus.
Sounds complicated.
And very dangerous.
Yeah, I was going to say all this metal and conduction of electricity and whatnot.
And I would have to install the other one around this bus. And in fact, in this modern electrical panel, we don't even have physical room to install this device. So what this basically says is that it is not feasible for a homeowner to install on his own the sensors necessary to measure the power consumption of the home. If a customer came into your store and asked you for a recommendation, what would you suggest they do?
Call a professional.
Meaning a licensed electrician?
Yeah.
And a licensed electrician would then have to make a service call to the home, install the equipment, and here in Northern California that would probably cost a minimum of $150 for a service call. As we said before, looking at these two bus bars, which are carrying current, using this ammeter with the circular magnetic probe, placing the circular magnetic probe around one of the bus bars incoming, I'm now looking at approximately 12 amperes. I'm not going to be able to show it to the camera because of the angle of the display.
Yeah.
But if you see here, it says 6.2 amperes, roughly. And if I put it on this side over here very carefully, I see about the same, 6.2 amperes.
Yes.
So we take those two numbers and we add them together, and that's 12 amperes at 120 volts. Now, given the fact that it's not feasible at a low cost for a homeowner to have an energy management system measuring the incoming power of the home from sensor devices installed inside the power box, there is an alternative which most utility companies in the United States are now providing to consumers virtually free of charge. And what that is the modern electrical power meter, which most utilities are replacing the old-fashioned mechanical meters with. This modern, what we refer to as a smart meter, has a device built into it which does exactly what we talked about. It measures the incoming current, and obviously that is used by the utility company for billing purposes to charge the customer for the power that they use. But at the same time, there's a device inside this meter which actually transmits the readings on the display, and many more readings, to a device that can be located inside the house. And once the signal is received inside the house, that signal can then be displayed on a computer, an iPhone, a PDA. So once again, this is being done virtually as a courtesy by electrical utilities across the United States. In our case, of course, this is being done by SMUD, which is the Sacramento Municipal Utility District. A homeowner with a new smart meter can simply look at his meter, and at the top of the meter there'll be an ID tag that says Federal Communication Commission, FCC ID. And above that, there'll be the name of the manufacturer, in this case, Silver Springs Network. Silver Spring Networks manufactures the communications module, which is located inside the smart meter, which again senses the incoming power and transmits that information, that data, inside the house to devices receiving it.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Does that seem like a good thing for utility companies to do?
So basically you're saying the individual or homeowner doesn't have to mess with anything in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Because this is what we call plug and play. That is to say, the homeowner could go into Home Depot or Ace Hardware and...
So then you don't even have to necessarily understand anything you just said. It's all done for you.
Exactly. You go into a store such as yours, and you buy the device, and you take it home, and you connect it, and you work with the utility company on their internet, and within 5 minutes, it's running. And there you have it, and it's perfectly safe. And most importantly, all of the equipment located in the panel is free because it's provided by the utility company.
Free is good.
Thank you, Jeremy, for helping with this explanation.
No problem.
Very good.